What'd you like about what Reese did tonight?
The Superman catch in right field, I guess, if anything, that deserves to be on Sports Center, but he was equally as good at the plate. And he's just, it's really beneficial to have him around for so many different reasons. He's such a good kid in the classroom, and then coming over here, he's a model teammate, and then when he gets out there, he's ready to rock and roll.
What does that say about someone to kind of, obviously he's probably wanted to play more to this point in his career, but he's just sort of kept progressing and fighting. What's that say about him?
I think it means he's going to have long-term success. I mean, I know we've talked about Trey Lipscomb ad nauseum in here, but he's the good example too of, like, regardless of where it's going to be, he's going to find happiness and he's going to make money and he's going to have success because of how he goes about his business every day. And then more than likely, because he's athletic, he's going to make money doing that. And I'm referring to Trey, but I'm also referring to Reese, and I'm also referring to anyone else that kind of goes about it that way. And he sees a lot of value in things in addition to making a Superman catch or hitting a home run. And that's what I'm referring to when I say makes him special. But as far as just fans, they don't get to see as much of that stuff. They're just watching and they want the Vols to win, and he can help us win.
How good was it to get Derek Schaefer out there first time in a couple weeks?
Yeah, it was good because last time we run out of innings to play on a Tuesday where we only played 7. We're now up to 3 total games we've lost. So we're allowed to schedule 56, but no matter how many regular season games we play, it's going to be 53 at the most. So he got cut short. He's forced to face guys on a Wednesday the following day, and I think it's much better, even if it was short term, just to get out there, calm the nerves, and also be able to contribute.
Just a rest day for Simo, or some bumps and bruises there?
Yeah, I mean, no. I mean, he was ready to pinch hit at one point, and same thing for Inslee. We wanted to start the game with some left-handed hitters against their starter, just trying to win the first inning. We know they're going to use a bunch of guys, and we are too. And then also trying to get creative on how to keep Ariel involved. I think he's shown why he's got value at the end of the game on defense, but with him missing a lot of the very beginning of the season, we're still trying to play catch up there a little bit.
I know you haven't gotten into Kentucky preparation yet, but watching from afar this season, what's allowed them to take a jump? They've obviously been good the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think I am a little short on info, but you get halfway through the year and you kind of start to see some things and also hear some things, but hopefully I'm not jumping to conclusions, but a pretty big carryover from last year where their pitching coach does a great job and their guys throw strikes. And part of that is their park is a flip opposite of their old park and plays very friendly to pitchers. So that there's kind of some forces at work there with the pitching staff. And then on top of that, there's a lot of pitchers back from last year. It was a good staff. And then they just flat out have good stuff. So you can probably start with that, but there's also some guys on the offensive end there that have really put to practice what they're trying to do, which is kind of come at you from a bunch of different angles, whether it's bunting or just fighting their way on base or stealing bases. So that's what we saw last year, was kind of a complete offense and a proper pitching staff, or a pitching staff you would be proud of if you were a part of that squad. And you combine the two and you got yourself a competitive team. Don't know enough to study the defense, but when you got good athletes that are playing hard, you're probably capable there too. And it is, again, kind of flipping from their old park to their new one. It's a home field advantage too. There's some unique things going on there, to leave it at that. And so they've won plenty on the road, but like a lot of teams in our league, pretty much all of them, it's always more of a challenge to go on the road and see what you can do.
Teams who run well, kind of how do you approach a weekend like that in terms of trying to manage that?
I think it can come up in practice, but you only have so many days. If you play a Tuesday game, and of course we travel too, there's only so much time with our guys, so you want to be efficient with your work and your conversations, where not just that, but what is something unique that goes on here? I mean, and we want to put ourselves in a position. We played earlier, it was Pierce from Auburn. Don't run on them. And we talked about it and we addressed it, and we only had a short window, and we explained it and we used examples, and we did it anyway. And our guy, who's not fleet of foot, but gosh dang, he can hit, he was safe at third. And probably took him out of the game too early tonight, but he was safe at third. But we're just trying to put him in a position to succeed, and I'm making light of it, but there's a lot of different things each team does well, and then with this league, there's some guys who do some things extremely well. You try and point it out to the guys, and then you just got to play ball. And they'll make mistakes, not just Kentucky, any team. The opponent will make mistakes, and we'll make mistakes too because they're young kids, but you want to compete together and play hard, and then, hopefully you limit those mistakes, but also can do some nice things to help your team win a game.
What have you learned about this team on the road throughout the year, starting from the beginning to now with the opportunities you've had away from here?
We talked about one of our players doing a good job of having some savvy and kind of figuring things out, and, I was joking about Blake, and John Wilkerson and I talked earlier about Blake's evolution of a player and a hitter that he really defender too. There's an evolution there, and there's a little mini evolution you can look at on our team just on how they've behaved a little bit on the road and acted, but then also look at the 3 trips that we have to fall back on. You play in a big league ballpark where they won the World Series the year before against 3 really strong storied programs, and then we go on the road where a program has been, a little breath of fresh air in there, and Coach Bohannon left all kinds of good players behind, and then of course, down at Auburn, a team that was starving for wins and plenty of talent. So, and that park can kind of play unique with the Green Monster and all that. So it's nice we've had a bunch of different looks, and if you've been around the guys, you can tell a little bit of an understanding of what it takes to put together a successful road trip.
So top 5 road series like this, is there a challenge in making sure the guys don't make it more than it is?
Not for me. It doesn't. We're in the middle of the year, so it's certainly got a lot more value than being ranked highly and being ranked 10th in the country or something like that before the season isn't worth a bucket of gummy bears, I guess. Although that's fairly valuable. Halfway through the year, it's more stuff for you guys to write about. But the teams in our league have huge aspirations that come with all kinds of stuff at the end of the year. But in the middle of the league, you're trying to win your division. You're trying to win the league. You're trying to finish in the top 4 where you get a bye in Hoover. You're trying to finish in a couple other spots where this or that. And then I could go another category and I'm boring you. But at least now you kind of get the point. Our league is very blessed for a lot of reasons. And there's opportunity around every corner to do all kinds of different things. And to narrow it down to this and this is doing it a disservice. So good that you can kind of write an extra theme. The only theme I'm really worried about, because we're going up there and we're going to play, and they're good like they were the last time we went up there, and they're good like they were when we played them last year. I just hope we have better weather than we had last time. That was a mess.
What does Cannon need to do to get going?
I think relax when he's going too fast. He's taken away what his strength is. To me, his strength at the plate is he's strong and compact. So there's not a lot of excess movements in there. It's a really sharp, compact, consistent swing when he's using it. But if he runs out of it, then everything kind of gets discombobulated. And that comes from that intensity he has and that drive to be good and his work ethic. So it's hard to temper that. And then you get going and you look at, again, if you want to add rankings and statistics and stuff like that, that's good for you guys to talk about and look at and fans to argue back and forth, but it just muddies the waters if you worry about it. And when he's worried about just using the swing that he's been blessed with and also worked at the craft, like he did in BP today, it was really good. And he had it in a couple at-bats during the game. So it's that. So I if I could answer your dang question, I'd say cut out some of the extra and just do you.
1 or 2 more. Anything else?
What does a win like this tonight, where so many guys get to see the field, do for the overall morale of the guys?
It does a lot. They're in there. It's a really nice spread. Beth, our nutritionist, put together, first of all, so I think they're happy. The food's really good. But it's a jovial deal. The whole place goes ballistic when Chuck does what he did, and he really put a spin on anyone that had a bad night tonight. You're a little too wrapped up in your own feelings if you're not leaving this park smiling and laughing because what Chuck did, but also, like you said, just comprehensively, we were able to use a lot of guys, and part of that is being able to play a whole 9 innings, but also some separation there. And if anything, we're running out of opportunities to be overly generous like we were to try and give some guys some opportunities to play catch up and reps. we're essentially in the last month of the season. So it's great, and I'm as big into the teammate thing, and we got to develop these kids, so we need reps. But this is last month of the year, and we're marching towards May, so it's time to play ball and either win ugly or win with 9 guys or 18 guys in the lineup, whatever we got to do.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.